certainly may well be paying higher insurance premiums for a building or a home or a structure that has knob and tube wiring. As a homeowner, certainly you will pay more, and they will offer named perils coverage as opposed to the more comprehensive coverage that is available. That is kind of through a secondary market, and the main insurers where you ideally want to be insured with for better coverage, better pricing, they will typically give you 30 days to have it replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're acquiring a property and you're moving in, obviously it's going to take some time to do renovations and whatnot. So they typically would require that it's replaced. Or in some cases, if it's aluminum wiring, there can be a few issues with the electrical.
Right.
Sometimes just an electrical safety certificate may suffice.
Are there any other risks that people should be aware of when it comes to getting insurance and housing?
Well, sometimes a row housing can be a little more difficult. It's not doesn't really pose an issue, but it is a little more limiting as far as consumers' choice. There are some insurers out there who shy away from row houses,
Right.
But really it's fairly straightforward. But most of the personal home insurance most of the home insurance policies out there are sold as a package that's going to include your liability and coverage for your contents and whatnot. And everything is determined on the replacement value of the home.
Right.
So when you're speaking with your insurance broker and they offer you the pricing and they give you the limits of insurance, the limit of insurance is strictly relating to rebuilding costs. So it's not anything to do with land value or market value, but specific to the rebuilding costs.
Got it. Are there other sort of negative things that, I don't know if negative is the right word, that make an insurance policy cost more? You had mentioned row housing. Is there anything else that people are buying that, when they're sort of saying that to the insurance company is sort of going, okay, we've got to make this policy slightly more expensive because of whatever it is? Are there other things like that?
Yes. So there are each company has their discount structure. So generally speaking, on a newer home, the companies will offer you discounts on that, mortgage-free, multi-policy, claims-free if you have an insurance track record, not having any property insurance claims. Those are some of the discounts that are kind of go into the pricing. Sometimes the older homes can be surcharged. Sewer backup is a big issue these days,
Right.
and just depending, may not necessarily be something that the property owner or the purchaser would know, but there are certain postal codes that certain areas that are mapped by postal code that are more susceptible to sewer backup. So the insurance companies, in turn, they're pretty sophisticated with the resources on that. They'll know if it's older infrastructure coming from the sewage line from the street, and if it's a low-lying area, if it's an area or a property that may be susceptible to sewer backup. In that case, some companies will not offer the coverage. It's been a newer trend in the industry, or they may offer a higher coverage with a higher deductible, or they may limit the amount of coverage. And as another point, the rate for the cost, or I guess what we would say is the risk exposure for the insurer. So if you're in an area that's prone to sewer backup, you'll see that reflected in your insurance premiums.
Interesting. Is that a list I can get my hands on in terms of which postal codes? Are there ones? I'm curious.
Yeah, again, the sewer backup has been. It used to be fire was costing the insurance companies most of it, but now water is far and above the biggest issue in property insurance.
Right.
And again, it's really a case by case basis. So
Okay.
we have software we input the postal code, and we get quotations accordingly. So the risk exposure is kind of built into the underwriting of the insurance company.
Got it. Damn, I was hoping I could get a list of, sort of trickier postal codes to avoid. Anyways, that's good to know. Can you tell us a little bit about Kitech Plumbing? And for those who don't know, Kitech Plumbing is it's a kind of plumbing where there is a class action lawsuit in a number of the condo buildings. Started in the U.S. and it's basically because the plumbing they've decided is faulty and at some point will leak. And so there's a number of condo buildings recently in Toronto that have been found to have Kitech plumbing, and so the condo corporations have had to either put special assessments on people, on unit owners, to remove this kind of plumbing from the building. So the question really is that do you have insurance companies that are willing to work with people who are buying condos in buildings where it's been identified that they have Kitech plumbing?
Very good question again, Devel. So, yeah, we're aware of the Kitech plumbing. It is an issue. My understanding is that over time it is prone to deterioration and can virtually disintegrate in some instances. The insurers will cover the resulting damage. Generally speaking, it's a question for your broker, of course. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, the insurer will pay for the resulting damage, for the water damage that's caused to your property. The cost to actually repair and fix the damaged piping is something that falls outside of the scope of your insurance. So it's incumbent upon the property owner to mitigate their loss and replace the plumbing.
Interesting. And then can you tell us a little bit about vacant homes that are under construction? I recently had my own construction project running for about 2 years or so, and after a while my insurance company was kind of like, well, we don't want to insure vacant properties for over a year. So can you tell us a little bit about how insuring vacant homes under construction works?
Certainly, and we have a very good example. If you saw in the papers within the last couple of weeks, a home at Bayview and the 401.
Yeah.
I think it was a 13,000 square foot mansion and whatnot, and it was under construction for some time. And if you saw the pictures in the paper, it's the home is essentially a write-off. The cost of insuring the building during construction, so we refer to that as builder's risk or course of construction, right, is certainly higher than if you're occupying it. They may have conditions depending on the values that you're insuring and whatnot. Sometimes they will want fencing or lighting, or in larger commercial projects they would want 24-hour security and whatnot. The exposure for the insurance company is much greater, just given the nature of what's going on during construction, unattended in the evenings, and of course there's the concern about vagrants and fire and whatnot,
right,
while the property is under construction and unattended.
Got it. That makes sense. Is there anything else that you think our listeners should know about when it comes to insurance, either personal or commercial?
Well, I'm an advocate of the broker channel as opposed to the banks and the direct insurance channels.
Yeah.
Your broker should be working for you. They have a good understanding of the risks and the exposures and the marketplace in general. So it's really the broker's job to answer any questions, to give you a little bit of guidance on your investment.
Perfect. That sounds great. Now, Chris, how can our listeners get in touch with you if they've got other questions?
Certainly happy to help out in any way I can. My email address I can leave with you. Sure. Is ckiely@breckles.com, and that is CKIELY @BRECKLES.com. And my mobile number is 416-450-5326, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that any of your clients or listeners may have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chris. It's been a real pleasure, and have a great day. Thank
you, Devel. I appreciate your time and your let me redo that.
Okay.
Told you I don't do these well.
No worries. Go ahead again.
Thank you, Devel. I appreciate you having me on your podcast today.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cool. We did it, Chris.
Yeah, see, I'm
It
like,
happened.
I told you I'm not so good with this.
No, you were totally fine. It worked out well. I'm glad we made it
I'm like,
happen. No worries. All good. Yes, I will probably
anyway.
brought like it'll be in public in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
After it goes through editing and stuff like that. But thank you so much. This is awesome.
Okay, yeah, not as polished as you, so hopefully you can make me look good.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Okay, we'll check in with you tonight.
Okay, cool. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye bye.